We are going to get started by having the teachers, I'm going to have them unmute themselves and introduce themselves. And I'm going to start with you, Desmond.
Right, wonderful. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm happy to be on now my second Ask the Guides with Violet. It's wonderful to collaborate with other teachers and getting to know everyone else for the first time that I haven't met. I've been on Insight Timer for several years now, and I enjoy the community. I'm also a writer, make films, do a lot of physical activities, and just share whatever I learn from my growth stages. So thank you so much for joining today.
And Mama J, we're going to move over to you.
Hi, this is my first time, but I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you. I am a social entrepreneur. I've been delivering wellbeing and resilience programs into prisons, and I am pivoting myself now since COVID to things on Insight Timer and just working with people generally to find their inner guide and inner well-being.
Thank you. And Spencer.
Hey everyone, I'm Spencer Jones, also known as the Prince of Positivity. I've been doing lives on Insight Timer since 2020. Start out weekly, and now we just have them once a week, but love to have you every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. But I just love helping people master their energy sovereignties, shine their beautiful light with the world. So you know what? You have that amazing light, go shine it.
I love that. D.
Oh, I'm Dee. I'm in Ireland and I'm delighted to be here. I've watched so many of these amazing get-togethers of Insight Timer teachers, so I'm really happy to be here. Violet, I see something in the chat about we can't see you yet. Oh, but now it's showing up, I think. So
Thank you for letting me know. I had no idea. Jessica, thank you. I had no idea. It's so strange how when you hit start live sometimes the audio
yeah,
comes through, but
take a
not the
little while.
video.
Yeah. So Mama J, I resonate with you so much. My whole life's passion is in the area of helping people to avoid or recover from burnout. And a lot of my professional work is with people working in human services, where we unintentionally sometimes overstretch ourselves. And I love, love, love doing my lives in Insight Timer. I think I'm an introvert, but I've discovered that I really love the real connection with beautiful people on Insight Timer. So I'm forever grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you. And you know what? I'm going to start all over again because they couldn't hear us either. So they couldn't hear or see. So thank you, everybody, for being here with us today. I've put in the chat the names of all the teachers that are here with us. And things are working. You know, we hit start the live and it said it was live, but apparently we were not. So now we really are. Now that you can see and hear us, I'm just going to start all over again. Other than D, who I know you heard, we're going to start again with Desmond.
Right, round robin. This is good. Let's see if I can switch it up now. Yeah, well, anyway, I've been on Insight Timer for quite a few years now. I've had the joy of working and collaborating with Violet on an earlier Ask the Guides, and just wonderful sessions to be on and to meet new teachers. And I like to share my growth from my beginning failures to my insights. I'm a writer, filmmaker, amongst other things, and I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you. And Mama J, would you introduce yourself?
It's great, isn't it? Second time round. I'm going to say something completely different as well. So yeah, I'm an Insight Timer teacher only since March, but I absolutely love this community and this journey. I do live every week, and I'm actually doing 24 lives in December, the Advent to Peace. So people can join me on that. Everyone's welcome. And I'm known as the prison lady because I've been working in prisons and delivering wellbeing and resilience programs for prisons, and now I'm doing that with teachers and people. I'm also an author, so yeah, really really excited to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, we couldn't hear
Violet.
you, Violet.
We can't hear you, Violet.
Spencer Jones, please introduce yourself. I muted myself.
Oh my gosh. So now I'm trying to think of
We're
how I
having
can
a day.
keep this all up. and say something totally different. So let's see. I'm the Prince of Pessimism. Oh no, that's opposite day. That's a Prince of Positivity. That's what it is. Also known as Spencer Jones, and I just love helping people shine their beautiful lights. I've been doing that on Insight Timer since 2020 and still going strong with lives every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Love to have you if you are around and interested. And yeah, author, composer, former teacher. I was a middle school, high school choir director for 9 years. Just love helping people shine. So I'll say this one more time. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough. You're going to hear me say that probably many more times. And know that you have a gorgeous light inside of you. Let's shine it.
Love that. Love that. LaSonya, I'm going to let you unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Everybody heard Dee's introduction, I'm sure. If you didn't, let me know, but go on.
Hi, I'm LaSonya. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am new to Insight Timer, but I am not new to helping cultivate the divine feminine through creative expression. So the divine feminine is all about creativity and harnessing that so you can overcome any challenges and know how to use that. So creating meditations and other things that can help you along your journey. So that is my main focus. And I'm so happy to be here with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sarah.
Hi. Oh, hello. I lost my voice then. That's unusual. I'm Sarah Naylor. I'm over in the UK in a lovely location called Norfolk. And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Violet. It's wonderful. I'm a relatively new Insight Timer teacher, joined in February this year and became a teacher properly in March. And love it. I've loved being able to create content from courses to tracks and doing lives, although I haven't been doing the lives just recently. But like Spencer, I am positive. Everything I do is positive. It's all about shining a light. And it made me smile when you use that phrase, because I can't mention things, but I use that shining a light phrase a lot myself, because I'm also an author and I'm a podcast host and I'm a coach, and I help people personally, professionally, across all walks of their life. And that's what I put out there on Insight Timer and courses to help people raise the level of vibrational frequency, tap into being their true unique self, because once you actually step into that, that's when you start to shine, because you are your authentic true self. And when you put out there how you are, you will attract that back. And it's all about sort of raising your vibe and happiness globally. So I'm delighted to be here to, radiate that happiness globally. Yep. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right. And before I move on to Melanie, I'm just going to say I'm Violet. I've decided I am the queen of OBS, which is how the software that torments us and how we are here. And what else do I want to say? Yes, I want to be the Oprah Winfrey of Insight Timer. So I do this because I love it. As most of you know by now, I was not a meditation teacher or yoga. I did not have any kind of background. I just wanted to be part of this because I love it so much. And I do love technology. So I'm using it to bring us all together. And I'm moving over to Melanie. She's going to introduce herself and take it away.
Thanks, Violet. Hello, everyone. I'm Melanie, and I do mindful cooking and intuitive baking, and I am a cookbook author and all the things. So I really appreciate everybody joining us today. And Jessica, I'm going to kick it off with her question because she asked a really amazing question, and I'm hoping that everyone will answer this. What is one key thing you want folks to take away from your content on Insight Timer, whether it's your lives, your tracks, or your courses? Spencer.
That's a fabulous question. One of the things I hope people take away from all the stuff that I share is what I said earlier, that you are amazing, you are worthy, you are enough, just the way you are.
Thank you. Sarah.
Yeah, I'd like people to, when they go onto my courses, come away feeling positive, uplifted, and knowing that they can change. They aren't their behavior. They can make some small shift changes. They can reframe, shift the perspective, and transform their life accordingly. And just know that you can, because we don't have to be or have the results that we are getting if they are no longer serving us. We can shift and change. And, you know, I embody that in my own life anyway. I've gone through so much transformation that I know it's all doable, but that's what I hope people will take away from the content that I put out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Dee.
The power of self-compassion. I've been studying mindfulness for years, basic degree, master's level, specialist training. And I know that the super sauce, the evidence-based practice that really makes a difference is self-compassion. And I like to describe it as, it can be complicated and tricky, but we can also be simple. The kindness that we naturally, intuitively show to a child or a beloved in trouble, look, we can begin to turn that light towards ourselves and begin to show the same kindness towards ourselves. I think that's my life's work.
And you do a beautiful job with that, Dee, as someone who attends your lives. So thank you for that. LaSonya.
My biggest thing is that I want people to be able to not hold back, to really show up and shine. And because society put a lot of pressure on to be something else, and it's okay to be you and to show up authentically and really hone into your creativity, use your creative license, no matter what that is. So if one day you want to wear different color shoes, different color hair, do it. Just be you, step out of that box and just do what feels right for you.
Thank you. Mama J.
Yeah, I love everything that's been said. And I really want people to walk away knowing that it is them, that it's not, we're not doing anything to them, that their response, their inspiration, their peace is all coming from within them. And that when they listen to a teacher or read something that resonates, it's actually them that's doing the work and not us. And I really hope that that spark just grows and they keep knowing that.
Thank you. Desmond?
Yes. I love what everyone's saying. Yeah, it's completely in alignment with what I want to say also is about just, you know, the power of choice, about, we talked about transformation and the malleability of being a human. We are so adaptive. We're so flexible. We have the ability to transform and to actually create new beliefs. So I want to put that out there, that we can create new beliefs and we can also exchange old beliefs that don't serve us anymore for new beliefs. So constant reevaluating, constant re-upping, up-leveling, and being the best version of yourself.
I love that. I'm going to add to that. You know, even though I teach mindful cooking, really, it's what I tell people when I teach them in person. I'm teaching people about connections, conversations, and compassion. And I only do it through food because that's what I know how to teach and I've done for 29 years. Because connecting is just so incredibly important, and having those conversations leads to connection, and all of that leads to compassion. So that's what I always hope people will get out of mine. And Deb asked a great question. Deb said, how can we maintain the change we want and are working to get on Insight Timer if others are keen to knock us off of our tracks? Spencer?
Isn't it amazing how people try to knock us off our tracks? Like when we're going and we're like, we're doing our thing, right? We're feeling good. And people are like, well, why are they happy? Let me throw my negativity on them. And it's amazing how that happens to not just you, Deb, but to everybody. So awesome question. Thank you. I'm excited to hear everyone else's answers. I'll keep mine short and sweet. You are in charge of your own energy, right? What you do, what you put out there. Other people could throw their energy at you, good, positive, negative. It's your choice to take it on. It's easier said than done, right? So it's like they're throwing it your way, especially when it's like your ex, like you mentioned in there, or somebody else you have these connections with. It's easy to take it on because you've been used to taking it on. But remember, you are your own light, your own energy. You could say yes to their energy or not and go, okay, I'm not going to take that on right now because that doesn't align with me or who I am or where I'm going. have a support system, have people like us, Insight Timer, here to help support you on that, to feed that love and positivity into the energy you'll take in, so that when those negative energies come in or people try to knock you off, you're able to stay strong because you got this, right? You have your beautiful light.
Thank you. LaSonya?
I would say is that when negative people come in, take a moment and just step back and say, what am I supposed to learn from this person? Why is it coming towards me? Because it's always a positive and negative in every situation. So we always want to look at what I can gain from that that's going to help uplift me and my continue to grow, because it's always going to be that force. So how can you overcome that? By thinking positive, surrounding yourself again with good positive people, maintaining your boundaries, and just realizing that that is coming in to show me something that I may need to overcome or step up or direct my energy to make sure that I'm not triggered, that I'm okay, and I can continue to move on my path.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great question. It is about remaining positive, remaining focused, like everybody else has already said. It's about knowing yourself and stepping into that power of who you are. And when people try and knock you off your growth, your personal growth, they can see you rising up and moving away from them. And it means that they've got to do the work themselves within, and they'd rather bring you down than do the work to come up to meet your level. So it's unfortunately letting those people generalistically fall by the wayside, because you can give people a hand up, but you cannot go back down to their level. You need to keep doing that work and just remain positive. Keep yourself surrounded, as it's already been said, about, with around people that are really supportive, encouraging, who want what's best for you. Now, when you're starting to talk about a tricky ex, don't respond. Do not respond to any communication that person is delivering. Like LaSonya said, there's always going to be a lesson there. So for me, that's suddenly boundaries is just channeled in. It's about putting firm boundaries into place. And, if you do have to have any contact, make it limited contact. Don't respond in an emotive way. So keep that very much factual if you do need to respond. But I would go no contact, and just don't reply to anything that they're trying to come into, because they're trying to pull your energy, or trying to pull you down, and you've made a decision not to be with that person. So don't allow them in. Put your focus and your energy elsewhere, because where your focus goes, energy flows. So the more you disconnect from that, they won't be able to pull into it. So if you disconnect, they can't pull in, so they won't be able to pull you down, because you've moved away, you've moved up and away from it. So anyway, good luck. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff on Insight Time that you can dig into on that one. And if that person happens to be narcissistic, you might want to have a look at one of my courses over on that one as well. As thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Dee?
I'm loving these answers. And my tuppence worth is a harsh word in a way: self-regulation. So learning to manage our own nervous system. I love a quote from Viktor Frankl. Read his book many years ago when I really didn't understand anything, but now I've grown into it. Viktor Frankl is an Auschwitz survivor, and he wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning. Excuse the sexist language. And he's the granddaddy, really, of logotherapy and many of our psychotherapy approaches of the late 20th century. And his quote, which is a misquote, but is a summation of his teaching, is: between the stimulus and the response, there lies a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in that response lies our freedom and growth. Now, that might sound wordy, but what it means is we can't control others. We can allow others to control us, so they're pressing our buttons and we're reacting. That's when I'm not in control of my nervous system. But I can cultivate that superpower of managing my nervous system. And then when I'm with that person, narcissistic or otherwise, I have my own freedom to choose to respond more wisely rather than having my buttons pressed. So it's a kind of a superpower that I think many wonderful teachers in Insight Timer invite us into over and over again. And step by step, we cultivate that superpower. So that's my tuppence worth.
Thanks so much, Dee. Desmond?
Yes, thank you. I love what everyone's saying here. And LaSonya definitely I had that in my mind as also. It's just so true because, you know, the people in our lives, the challengers are as much in many ways as instrumental to us as our supporters, and they do teach us something about what we need to learn. I think one thing also I'd want to add that I think is really critical is meditate. Take some space, take some time to sit and collect yourself again, because when you get emotionally fraught, it's so easy to get flooded, and it's so easy to not know left from right and up from down. So it's really vital to have some time to just sit with yourself, go into nature, whatever that might be, to ground and just to listen. Because a lot of times when you're searching for answers, especially at the crux of a fallout, an intermission, a breakup, whatever, you're in such a haste and so desperate to understand, and that's actually the very moment when you have to stop asking and just let things be, and the answers will come to you. And just set yourself to just routine things, whatever that might be. Maybe you've tucked away for a while that you haven't really paid attention to, and take care of yourself and do nice things for yourself. That's what I'll say.
Thank you. And I'm going to follow up on that question because, believe it or not, I get asked this question a lot, and it's so tied into what we're doing. And I think people struggle with it. How do you all set boundaries yourself, or how do you recommend people set boundaries? For me, for years, I actually never knew what that even meant. I was like, what does that mean? And I just realized that in the past 10 years, I am okay to put up some boundaries, literal boundaries, where I am like, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's okay to say no, or to do whatever it is that works for you. Desmond, were you going to answer that? Desmond, can you?
Yeah, yes. It's funny, this came up because I was doing some thinking about this a few days ago, and I realized that, like, we put a lot of stock into the boundary setting, field with others, but like a lot of times we have to start setting boundaries to ourselves and start there and figure out what are our own personal boundaries, what are we not doing that's not true to ourselves. And I think once we create that foundation, then I think it'll be a lot easier to set those with others. But definitely figuring out, like, I mean, you can start with the values and whatnot, but I think one of the most important things is, I mean, I'm always going to come back to it, but it's that beautiful thing called intuition. And when you are really feeling into that intuition, that thing is always going to set you right. And I think if you're able to just trust that, you'll make the right decision. But one last thing I'll say about the boundaries with other people, I think the best way, because I think what's usually found to be the most troubling is the awkwardness and offending someone, upsetting someone. But usually, if you can be very clear about your communication and do that in a very calm and loving and caring setting, I think it'll be fine.
Great advice. Thank you. Sarah.
Yeah, thanks. Boundaries. Yes. I mean, I think when you let me go back a little bit. I used to be very much of a people pleaser. I used to be an overdone strength. I always like to have balance. I like to have everybody feeling happy. But when you give too much, people will keep taking, and then you can get really frustrated. Then you go, why am I not being appreciated? But it's because you've given too much. So you have to know when to draw that line. And once you start to do that work on yourself and you start to become aware of people's behavior and how people can take and will drain you, because you've got to look after yourself. You've got to keep yourself fueled up. And if you keep on giving, people keep taking, and you end up depleted, and you're not doing the self-care on yourself, which is what Dee was talking about earlier. So I think it's really important to be very mindful of that, of how much you do give. And, I know I give a lot, but I equally say, well, I'll put boundaries into place. But, taking that fast forwarding to last year, I had to have boundaries in place with my adult son, and we've now been estranged for nearly 2 years, which is very sad. but equally so, his behavior towards me was very depleting and very toxic. And so I had to have that sort of no contact for my own health and well-being. So as even when it's very, very close to home, you've got to look after your own health and well-being. I mean, I would welcome him back. I love him to bits, for example, you know, and I would have him back in my life tomorrow. And he's equally cut me off as much as we just haven't communicated. But there are boundaries in place because I won't accept that and tolerate the way he's been talking and behaving to me for years. And it's a tough one, but you feel healthier when you do take care of yourself first, because self-care isn't selfish. It's absolutely essential to your overall well-being. And, you know, you know, there's an acceptance that comes in there alongside the boundaries that you put in to look after yourself. As I say, it's not selfish, it's self-care at its best, but those boundaries are there to protect you as well. But yeah, intuition, instinct, just trust it. That supportive voice within you will tell you when you need to you need to listen, because they'll always want what's best for you, not what wants to pull you down.
Thank you for that. LaSonya?
My biggest thing for boundaries is don't feel bad. Don't feel bad for setting the boundaries. I think a lot of times we feel, you know, bad that we can't do certain things, but it's for your own protection. And I know for me, that's where I was, to say no or feel obligated that you have to do this, even though it may not be healthy for you. So don't feel bad for setting your boundaries and sticking to them, and just letting know people your values and the directions that you are going.
Thank you. Spencer?
I've been sitting back trying to think of how to answer this one in a good way, and I wanted to hear what everyone was saying. Based on, I was reading some of the comments as you're chatting, and Kylie, you mentioned one just real quick. Stop. You should do for others. You talk to a person, right, about you should be doing for others. This is gonna sound rude. Stop doing it for other people. Do it for you, right? These boundaries are for you, not for other people. You're not doing it to protect other people. You're doing it for yourself. Love yourself for you. Set the boundaries for you to fill yourself with that love, with that light. And so setting these boundaries, being clear about communication. I forget who mentioned it in the Jude mentioned, how did you cut off communication with your son? Directed to Sarah, mention it. And I'll let the people leading it direct it the way they need to. But for me, I haven't talked to my parents in 18 years. And so when I cut off that connection with them, set a boundary before I knew what boundaries even were, I sent them a letter. And then we've tried to connect over the years here or there, and it just wasn't there, right? They were crossing the boundary still and doing that. And okay, well, then it's not time yet. It's not time yet. And who knows, hopefully the time will heal, but you're doing it for you. So make sure it's in alignment with who you are, with where you're going, with your purpose, your priorities, your heart. You're not doing it out of fear. You're doing it out of love for you, love for others, so that it doesn't damage that relationship more, right? We can love people, just love them from a distance sometimes, right? And your boundaries can change. They don't have to be set in stone forever. They can change as you learn and grow and shine even brighter.
Thank you. Mama J?
Yeah, it's all an inside job, right? So the thing is that as you change inside, as you set your own boundaries, as you realize who you are and what you want, and you live more authentically, the outside changes automatically. And I know this from experience. I went from violent and abusive relationships to realizing that I loved myself, and then I didn't even attract those people into my life anymore. So it really changes. It really starts with you. And then the other thing that I would say is that, and as many of the teachers have pointed out, it's about following your inner guide or your intuition, because it's different for everyone. So you can buy a book on setting boundaries and it can be absolutely not make any sense to you whatsoever, because you have to follow what's right for you. And also that changes. So what's right for you right now might change, you know, in a week. So my boundaries automatically increase. So no longer violent people, and then no longer mentally abusive people, and then only nice people. But I didn't set that. That came about the more that I learned to love my inner self, and learned to accept myself, and learned to forgive myself, and automatically everything else changes as you go. So you'll find those boundaries much easier to set. And if someone's toxic in your life, then as they say, move away from that and take a look at what you need to heal within you. And then it'll just make sense. You won't even have to ask the question about, should I have them in my life or not? And lots of love to you as well.
Thank you. Violet?
I just wanted to add to what everybody was saying. I love that people said, you know, your boundaries can change, because one of the things that I've an amazing therapist, first of all. And one of the things that I had said to her one time was that I feel guilty because I feel like I set people up to have me be available to them all the time. So I was like, what do I do now? You know, I used to ghost people, literally. Like, I would just stop talking to them because I didn't know what else to do. And she said, you know, it's okay to change your mind. So I just want to say to people, yeah, it is. And I was like, wow, like, what a light bulb moment. Why didn't I think of that? It's okay to change your mind. And as everyone else said, your boundaries change, your needs change, and don't feel bad for that. I used to feel so guilty about that. And when she said that to me, I was like, you know, you're right. And I'm going to continue to change my mind. So if this person had access to me 24/7 and I don't want that anymore, it's okay. Maybe they'll hear from me once a month or once a year or whatever. That's fine. That's all I wanted to say.
Violet, is that why you're talking to me less?
I'm changed my mind.
Dee?
I've been listening to the word values bounce around the room, and for a long time I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how does that work, but I now know, and this is how I use values, and this is how I support mostly women who are overstretched in long-term habit energy of overgiving and being poor in terms of boundary, to begin to do this work. So what's important to me? So for example, in my lives, I always introduce the values of kindness and freedom. I say it, this is the value we're bringing into this space together. This is what will guide us. And then that value literally becomes a guiding light. It helps me moment to moment to make decisions. Is this keeping me, strengthening my value of kindness or freedom? Or is this taking me away from that? Is the energy shifting? And that helps to say the yes or the no. But it's tricky boundary work, and especially when we start from a place of depletion, overgiving, being ever available. I see in the chat the word should. I use that all the time in my procrastination live. We should all over ourselves. And it's very tricky to pull back from that. But if I get the values right, if I know what's important to me, then I can begin with tiny actions and oodles of self-compassion to know the values, and then to sit with the feelings that those values bring up. But people will judge me, but people will think I'm no longer the loving, available Dee, but people will, whatever. Sit with it, really lean into it. And in that pause of sitting with the feelings, I will begin to be able to choose. I'm back to the Viktor Frankl thing. I will intentionally choose rather than stay stuck in old habit energy of overgiving, overpleasing, depleting myself, and then feeling both guilty and resentful around all that stuff. So tiny actions. And I often teach people that I'm supporting to really focus on boundaries, to literally practice in front of a mirror on something really small, not the big life decision, but something really small. Yeah, I'll come along to the family gathering, but you know, I'll be leaving at 6 p.m. Practice. on something small, and it becomes the pathway. So I think it's huge, huge part of well-being. And I'm loving hearing more from Mama J about your work, because I think we're kind of in a similar area, promoting blossoming and well-being and flourishing. Well, it starts with boundaries and coming back to health from a place of burnout. Well, it starts with boundaries. So it's important work. So I'm delighted it's bounced into this room. That's me.
Thank you. Spencer?
Yeah, I'd love just to tag on to that a little bit more. Dee, that was amazing. I love that you brought in values, because you've heard them bouncing around a lot. And whether it comes to values, boundaries, or other things in your life, ask yourself, is this coming from you, from your soul, from helping you out? Or is it what you feel other people are expecting you to do, right? Especially when it comes to values, for me at least, it was super easy to get sucked into, well, that's the values of my parents or my spouse or my friend or what I think society should have. Well, if one of my values is kindness, or, theirs is kindness, but I'm like, yeah, I like that, that's important, but maybe that's not one of my values. It is, but just for an example, right? Like, okay, well, I'm not going to pick it because that doesn't align with me. So ask yourself, as you're looking at, do I set this boundary? Am I choosing this priority in my life, right? We're coming up on the holiday season, spending time with family. Does that align? Does that not align? Is this value aligned? Does it not align? You always have to come back to you and go, does this make sense? Is that aligned for you? Whatever you're talking about, you need to check, does it align with you?
That's all such amazing advice. Desmond, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, that was amazing. Thanks, Spencer. Yeah, and one other thing I want to add also is, like, just like children need the parents and the caregivers to set boundaries for them, we as adults sometimes have to have people set boundaries for us, or we have to set boundaries for other people because maybe they don't know where they're stepping over the boundaries. So it's not, so much that we can look at it as, someone taking offense or having to hurt someone's feelings. But, I had a situation not that long ago, maybe about half a year ago, where I was on the phone with a business colleague of mine that I've known for like 5 years, and he can get abrasive on the phone sometimes because that's just his attitude. And he can get carried away. And we hung up on a call where he said some things that I felt were a little disrespectful, to say the least. And as I was sitting there, I was like, oh, well, now I hung up the phone, but no, I'm going to call him back, and I called him back, and, I said, hey, how you doing? And I said, I didn't quite like what you said to me back then, and I feel like for XYZ, this is how I feel. And he goes, you know what? Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. I get a little carried away at times, and this, that, and the other. And that was it. I said, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. All is best. Bye. But like, it felt so good. Like, I think there are few feelings in the world that feel as good as standing up for yourself. It's an amazing feeling. And sometimes obviously there's the fear of rejection, the fear of conflict and all that. But when you do it and you feel like you were there for yourself, it's like, it's so rewarding. So I'll just say that much.
Spencer, I want to say what you wrote in the chat. You said, if I'm being honest, I'm still figuring boundaries out, also learning and growing. I mean, I think that we can all say that, because no matter where we are, our boundaries might change. And I think it's an evolution. So never to feel like, hey, I'm done. So thank you for sharing that. That's really important. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Jessica asked a question a while ago that was really interesting. And she asked, what are you currently learning about or spending time on as a hobby? And Spencer, I know you know, because you said, I'm going to go get whatever that is. So go for it.
Yeah, I just reach over to my cabinet to pull it out. I restarted this. I was introduced to it as a kid, left it for years. I'm not going to go into this too long, I promise. Last Thanksgiving, my brother-in-law randomly, a week or two before Thanksgiving, randomly said, hey, I'm getting into this. I'm like, holy crap, I haven't thought about that in forever. That's amazing. And so then last Thanksgiving, I started doing it again, and that is crocheting. So what hobby and stuff I'm learning about, I'm learning to crochet again. It looks like a hot pad. It's gonna be a hat eventually. We're working on it. But I've made different things. Lightning bolts, our emoji is the energizer. So I made I crocheted little lightning bolts. I've done hats. We're expanding out there, learning different designs, little donuts and cactuses. We're having fun. So that's what I'm learning about.
I love it. I've always wanted to learn to crochet. Actually, there's somebody I think in the live who's a teacher, but she doesn't do lives. And I said, we need a sewing live. We need mindful sewing. I don't know how to sew, but I think that would be amazing. LaSonya, what about you?
I'm in the process of learning more AI generated images, just getting more into depth with that and how to use that to create different things that will help through your journey. So that's what I'm working on and taking some courses and things like that. Because again, I do the meditation live with coloring. So that was something that I really enjoyed as a child. So I'm tapping back into that as well.
That's awesome. Sarah?
Well, it probably won't surprise you that I'm usually trying to do a whole pile of things all at the same time. So I love that you're doing crochet, Spencer. I've actually bought some knitting needles, so I actually want to learn to knit. Yes, because I can well, I used to be able to crochet and sew, and I have got my sewing machine back from my parents 2 or 3 months ago because I had it for my 18th birthday. And it's been lent to Norma for years. So I've got it back. I've got some knitting needles. I've just need to find some space. I've got curtains that need to shorten and things like that. So very much on the creative front with you there. And Melanie will get this one, but I think Gareth and I might want to be learning how to make latex outfits. That's another story for another day. And on top of that, I have a list to create because I'll be 60 next year. So I've got a list of 60 things to do before I'm 60. So I've got that to create and curate. And I also want to do a lot more study into narcissism. I've done a lot of healing on that front, but I want to learn more myself, which I've got to top up what I've already shared within my courses. And what else? Oh, we do sea swimming, go out sea swimming, do trail running, do park run, go out bike riding, do yoga, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. So yeah, usually generally very, very busy aside from doing stuff on Insight Timer. Gotta love life. I actually saw somebody put a question out. I don't know whether you're going to go back to it, Melanie, about, you know, one word to sum up how we face life and live life. Well, I was just going to answer that and say positively. So I want to pick, I'm sure Spencer will have the same word. You gotta love life. You've got to love life. Wherever there's, whatever happens, all the challenges, whatever comes along the way, if you look for the positives or you look for the learnings, if you look for the takeaways, there's always going to be growth. And you can't take what's gone with you. You don't know what's coming. It's got to live in the now. So yeah, everything's working out wonderfully. There we go. Whether you think it is or it isn't, it is. That's me.
That's my approach. I laugh all the time, and I was going to answer that question with the word fun because that's kind of how I live my life. And even when things are sometimes bad, I'm laughing, and people are like, "What is going on with that girl?"
Well, you've got to find the funny and stuff, haven't you? You've got to find the humor in life. I can't keep a straight face at times, you know. And I don't know. I think I must have some sort of inner Tourette somewhere because things come out my mouth before I realise I've actually said it. It's like, maybe I'll get my coat.
Yeah, that's why we get along so well.
Indeed.
You sure you don't want to show everyone your latex? Go put it on.
I did. I put it in the chat. I'm going to just say Sarah has an alter ego, and her name is Lucy.
Lucy loves latex on Instagram.
Okay, that's going to be cut out for sure.
That's going to be another topic, another day.
But you know what? I was blown away, Sarah, when you told me about that. And you know why? Because it broke my vision of who you are. And that's what I love about humanity, is that all of us have sides that other people don't perceive or think us as. And that I was like, I totally love that so much. And by the way, you have like 70,000 followers there and your account is not very old. So I think that's such a unique thing that really resonates with people.
That we
Yeah,
should
well,
all be wearing latex.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, the thing is, it was about walking my talk because I always encourage people from a coaching perspective, all who come into my orbit, to be themselves. We've already talked about this already, to identify who you are, be curious, explore, and uncover who you are, and be proud. Be your unique self, because we're all unique. We're not supposed to be exactly the same or a Barbie cut out of each other. And it's embracing that. So I really needed to walk my talk, which is why I set up the account in the first place. And, it's only something that I've discovered in the last few years. And it's just fun because there's so many different aspects to all of us. So bring it out. Just be who you are. I mean, there's so many different facets to all of us. That's why I've got so many hobbies and try and do so many different things. And I've realised now I'm a mixed media content creator. So, yeah. You just got to love life, like I've said, and embrace it and do whatever floats your boat. It doesn't matter, does it? And if people have got a problem with it, that's their stuff, not yours.
And at the end of the day, no one's going to remember it anyway. So
No,
just do
tomorrow's
it.
chip paper.
Exactly.
I can't get the image out of my mind, so I disagree with the no one's going to remember it anyway part.
Just the latex, Violet.
And just the latex. It's very shiny.
D.
I'm learning to use a chainsaw to cut my own wood, part of a big change that's happening in my life.
Thank you for sharing that. Desmond?
Yes. Yeah, these are all very entertaining, very inspiring. I think the beauty of any new recreation or any new undertaking is like you get to reinvent yourself. That's the beauty of life. Like you can constantly find new things to dabble in, new things to challenge yourself with. And the beauty of it is also knowing like it's never too late. I mean, it's only too late till it's not, not ever again, but you can keep on, attempting new things. I just started to get involved, endeavoring to do a solo show, a theatrical solo show, but I find it daunting, and I kind of like to do things that, scare me a little bit, because I think that not only will I kind of have to solve it like a puzzle, but it'll keep me busy for some time. But I'm definitely I'm excited to do, to kind of do the things that I haven't done for years, and yeah, it's just a good place to be at.
Spencer, did you have something you wanted to add a minute ago? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, it was more on that one word for the year thing. Just trying to think about that. And yeah, positivity is one of my keywords, cornerstones. But I was thinking about it like, okay, that's a great word, love it. But Sarah's probably gonna take that word. So let's see what other word I could come up with. And I guess the word I would use, not that anyone asked this question or asked us to answer this, but here you, I'm answering it anyway. So thank you, Sarah, for opening the door, is love. I'm gonna go through the year lovingly. How can I do that, right? Love might be me biting my tongue and not saying a word because I can't think of anything nice to say whatsoever, right? Or love from a distance, or love close up. Friend, romantic, doesn't matter, but lovingly. And that's not as easy as it might seem, but that's how I try to live my life.
Well, thank you for sharing. So I'm just going to say this, and I think almost everybody knows it anyway. One of the hobbies that I have turned into something that I hope it's going to be bigger is I've been doing a deep dive on music, and I took a lot of classes in sound bowls and crystal bowls and Nepalese bowls, and I'm super excited to sort of weave that into what I'm doing. Yes, thank you. I'm really, really excited because I haven't done something like that in a long time. And my word, I'm going to just throw this out here, that Kitty asked if you could sum up how you approach life in one word, what would it be? And I would love it if you guys could answer that. And also for me, I have an overarching word, and it's fun, because I think that's really important for me, because I want to always have fun and I try to approach things from a fun space. But also maybe, I don't know if anybody else does this here, but maybe set a word for the year, like an intention Like Spencer, that was the vibe I got from you with love. So if you have that, I would love to know what that is too. Violet, go ahead.
My word is joy. I always say that I do these because they bring me joy. So that's going to be my word. I hadn't thought about that till you said that. I'm like, joy.
Amazing. LaSonya.
I don't think it could be summed up in like one word, but I do what makes me feel happy. So if it brings me happiness and I know that it's offering happiness to someone else, then that's what I tend to do, to just be happy with what I'm doing.
I love it. Sarah, you can't say latex is your word.
Shiny, shiny, shiny. My words for this year are excitement and expansion. Now I'm thinking it's going to have to be shiny for next year, actually, because I do want to write a book about all of that subject, which is so expansion will continue into next year. But I always think it's a really good idea to set those words at the beginning of the year, and I have done like for the last 2 or 3 years. I think one word I had a while back was growth or challenge or something like that, and that, you know, it just embodies and it flows through your year. And this year really has been expansion and excitement, because I'll just quickly give a synopsis to everybody. Last year in 2023, my whole world broke down. My relationship with my son broke down. My business went into administration because it didn't cope. I had a recruitment business, sell my car to pay my mortgage, and so we ended up hemorrhaging money left, right, centre, and until we actually moved. So this year, when we actually finally relocated a year ago within the UK, it has been that excitement and that expansion, you know, and just knowing that you can, everything is passing, everything changes constantly. There's that constant change that's going on. So whatever you're experiencing today could completely change tomorrow. To expect the unexpected, that's a great one to actually have. Just let go of any expectations of outcome. So for 2025, I think it's going to be expect the unexpected and growth. Those are the words for me for next year, I think.
Love
and
it.
excitement and latex and shine.
I mean, I want to do a deep dive on the latex. And I was on Sarah's podcast and I asked her, do you really have to use baby powder to get in there?
Well, sometimes it's baby powder, other times it's a dressing aid. So, and then you polish it afterwards, and yes, it's lovely.
The book needs this. The world needs this book. We need.
Oh,
to
absolutely! It's going to be Lucy Loves Latex by Sarah J. Naylor. It's going to be to talk about my journey into it, what that's meant, and then explore. Because to be honest, it's about individuality. It's about, so it's not just, it's the senses. It's and distilling the myth of that sort of edge that it's got, because obviously there is an edge attached to it, but you know, we've got people in the UK that are well known that are opening sort of events on the television wearing latex, but it's distilling that myth of what it is and who can wear it. Because, you know, I'm 59, I wear it, so what? You know, it doesn't matter. It's not for necessarily for 18-year-olds who are a size 2 or what have you, you know, because I'm definitely not a size 2. One ankle might be, but you know, it's about just embracing it, but understanding about the people that wear it, why they wear it, who makes it, the events and things like that, just to create a beautiful coffee table book and lots of glossy pictures in there that are going to, yeah, really excited about it, and create a, you know, can I say another podcast on the side of it, interviewing people, because I think that would be really fascinating. So yeah, I'm going to shine on into the new year.
Yeah, it's truly, it's inspirational. Honestly.
Oh, thank you.
No,
Thank
I'm
you,
serious. I think if anybody needs inspiration, that's something to think about, because I don't know, that seems like a stretch out of a comfort zone.
Just a bit.
It would be for me. And I'm like, I told my husband, I think I want to get some latex. I'm like all in on Sarah's latex.
Get yourself a cat suit, Mel.
On my next
Go
cooking
for
live.
it. And
Okay.
a pair of big pleaser boots. You'll be
I'm
well away.
D.
It's hard to follow that. I nearly forget the question. What's the one word? For me, it's connection. I love it how Inside Timer continues to teach me that we're social animals. So in the chat, in any live, this amazing community of deep listening, healing and holding and sharing our Unda wisdom just kind of happens by magic. So connection for me, and it brings me back to, I'm kind of re-embracing, I'm trained in philosophy and theology, but moved away from that when I embraced mindfulness and neuroscience for quite a while. But I'm coming back full circle now, and I'm embracing my own Celtic spirituality. And we have a phrase, Anam Cara. And it's kind of like the person we can't mention who talks about, we're walking each other home. That's what Anam Cara is. It's a soul friend. So we walk the road together. So I think that really helps us to blossom from that human connection. And I thank IT for giving me that gift of greater appreciation of that connection.
I love that. Very beautiful. Desmond?
Yes, well, I love all these: joy, growth, love, expansion, fun, connection. Excellent. One thing I would want to introduce is authentic. To be authentic, because I think that word carries a lot of weight for me. I think there's a lot of different variations of how we can interpret that. I mean, I know for me, like, I've been basically living in limbo for the last 5 years or so, just with so many things happening in my life, visa issues, living issues, relationship issues, just that trying to find a way to situate themselves. So being authentic to yourself, I feel, is important, whether that means taking risks. Maybe you find an opportunity that just looks like too good to resist, and you jump on it. It can also be, in my case, learning to sit still. Just stay patient, stay the course. Don't get too distracted by the shiny objects. Maybe your current present state is to just to embrace the presence. And that actually is another thing that I think Being Authentic also does really emphasize, is being present and to own your story, because there's no one else that has your story.
Beautiful, Desmond. And Misty, I just want to say this. Misty wrote in the chat, I was talking about choosing to be alone, but I'm not. I have found so much love through Insight Timer in the community here, so I'm never alone. And Misty wrote something to that effect last week, Sunday, in my live. And when you said that, Misty, it actually really sparked me to remember that on Thanksgiving, which we celebrate here in the US, I was like, oh, you know what? Other people might be alone. And so because of what you wrote, I scheduled my live for Thanksgiving Day so we could connect, because I was really inspired by what you wrote. So thank you. Mama J.
Not that I want to give you more editing stuff, but I definitely love the purple boots on Sarah's site. So I'll be going for them. Yeah, I wanted to share that. I was going to say hobbies. What are hobbies? And then I was so pleased that everybody shared all the stuff that they're into, because I'm a multi-passionate too. So I write, I create stuff on Insight Timer. I'm always looking for, that is my hobby. This is my hobby, like doing stuff, creating stuff, the digital world. I'm just loving every minute of it, and really enjoying that. And my word was joy, but I thought, if I think joy, someone's going to say it. And of course, Violet did. And then really what I want to say is, for next year, for 2025, listening. Because if we listen, I think listening can change the world. If we listen to other people, really listen, really be present, and listen with nothing on our minds, that gives them such joy and such a gift of peace and a gift of love. And we can do it anywhere. And if we listen to ourselves and we listen to life, it's transformative. So that's where I'm going in 2025.
Thank you. Well, it's hard to believe that an hour. Oh, Sarah, go ahead.
I was just going to echo what Mama J said there. It's being heard is transformational, and that is one of the things that is just so amazing about working as a coach, giving somebody that platform to be heard, to explore, to hold that space, to investigate things that are going on personally, professionally, internally, externally, all of those things. But being heard, and you can demonstrate that you are hearing somebody by using the language that they're using and reflecting that back to them. It could be just through your own body language that you can hear somebody and let them know that they are being heard. But it is important to actually listen. All too often people want to jump in and talk over the top of, but that value of listening to somebody, to actually being heard, even if it's in a small way that you can reflect back, is powerful in itself. You don't need to, it's not about going in there and solving people's problems or anything like that, because everybody knows the answers to themselves from within anyway, if they are given that space to explore and do what's right for them. So it's being heard, it's listening, it's supporting, it's being non-judgmental, it's encouraging, it's cheering people along. And if there's stuff that you don't agree with, you just don't need to comment. You just comment on the stuff that you think people are doing brilliantly. You don't need to pull them down, but just let them know that you've heard them, you understand, and you're there and you're an ear. And that's great, because that is caring and sharing and understanding and being. Yeah, thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Just moving on from the latex, really.
You're never moving on from that, okay?
No, that's true.
Promise you, I won't let you.
No. Be dress up a day again on Monday, creating more content in conjunction with work, because you can do that too.
Well, thank you guys for coming. This has been amazing. I'm hoping that everybody can just wrap it up and share with everyone listening and watching the best ways to support you during this time, whether that's, your lives or whatever you want to share that you're doing. And
yeah, any of your upcoming lives, your tracks, whatever you want to share, now's your opportunity.
Sarah.
I'll kickstart then. I should just say, please, I can't do my lives at the moment. There seems to be some sort of technical hitch, but please do go and have a check out of my profile and have a look at the courses and the lives. I've got the courses and the tracks that I've got on there. I've got free tracks and obviously premium tracks as well as, and they cover positivity, careers, cultivating positive lives, relationships, narcissism, etc. So please do head over there and have a listen. That will be absolutely awesome. And do check my bio out as well, because that'll give you the link to finding me, although there obviously is one link missing on there. But you can, we all know it's Lucy Loves Latex, so you can always find that without the link.
Thank you. I just want to say, Paige wrote, I always come on Insight Timer to ground my energy and remember what matters most in life. And thank you for this. So healing. And then also, it's Misty's birthday today. She said, I had an amazing birthday hanging out with everybody on IT. So happy birthday, Misty. LaSonya.
So everyone can check out my profile here on Insight Timer. On Sundays, I do the coloring meditation. So whatever modality that you like to use, you can come and join me for 45 minutes to an hour, just a space where we can come together and be creative. And I come also on Tuesdays and Thursdays for collective message or insight readings, if anyone would like that. So that's what you can find for my lives. And then I also have a course and other free meditations and affirmations, and also premium tracks as well. So I hope that you check that out. And you can find more information about me in my profile on Insight Timer.
Thank you. Spencer.
Happy birthday, Misty. Yeah. Awesome. I hope you're having an awesome day. You can probably help all of us, all the teachers here, by just following our pages on Insight Timer, right? That way you can be notified when cool things launch and do all that. For me, I do a live every Monday, 9 a.m. or not Monday, every Tuesday. Let's try that again. I do a live every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern here on Insight Timer. Come join us. And there's some cool stuff happening. So make sure you check out my profile, the link in there and all that good stuff. And just know that you have a family here to support you, all of us, all of our communities. We got you. You are never alone. And I'll leave with this, saying it again from the beginning. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough, just the way you are. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Desmond?
First, oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. First, thank you so much. Thanks, Melanie. Thanks, Violet. Everyone else here, Mama J, LaSonya, Sarah, Dee, Spencer. It's just awesome time. Great energy from everyone. I'm very grateful. Yeah, you like Spencer already said, yeah, if you want to find me, Desmond Devonish, hit me up with a follow so you can be in touch with all the things I've got going on. I got a couple courses I just launched, a Fanatical Focus course. I do a lot of stuff on, well, a lot just on, retraining this thing up here and making it best for you, not it making you best for it, and that happens oftentimes. It's just in protection mode. So yeah, I've got a couple classes next week. I got one on shifting cynicism into empowered action on Tuesday, and one on thought breaking, which is again what I'm talking about, just getting out of the head and more into the heart. So thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate your energy.
Thank you. Mama J.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. And I've followed all the teachers that are on here. And the best way to support me, like the others, is to follow. And I have the Advent to Peace lives every day from the 1st of December, tomorrow, until the 24th of December. So you can check those out on my profile. I would love to see some of you on here. Thank you so much to everyone who's on here. Happy birthday, Misty. And hi to some of the people I know that come to my lives anyway. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Dee, do you want to pop on?
Yeah, just to say that I'm on a wee break from my 2 regular lives, compassionate pathway through burnout and moving through procrastination with ease. So I'm taking a little space for myself this month, Advent coming up to Christmas, but I will be back. And I really appreciate people following me, listening to my tracks, finding my courses and engaging with me. I love it, love it. So hope there'll be more of that. It's great being here. Thank you.
Did we get everybody? I was so busy in the chat, I didn't notice if we got to everybody.
Yes, everybody we did get.
Awesome.
And I just want to say
Great.
that I have a live every Sunday at 9:30, and I am actually tomorrow starting the 12 days of cookies. So between December 1st and December 12th, I will be on every day doing some mindful baking. And I hope you guys can join me. And I did post the recipes in my group, so they're already posted for the entire time. Somebody asked me if they needed 9 pounds of butter, and you will.
Sounds good to me. I love butter. All right. Thank you, everybody who joined us. And yes, a lot of these teachers also have groups. I recommend that you, and I'm going to paste their names again. When you follow them, check out their groups. Melanie's got Mindful Cooking. And what's the name of the other one, Melanie? Remind me. I'm drawing a blank.
The Mindful Cooking Book Club, which I promise after the new year is
Yes.
picking back up. I just have been very busy. So
And
I
of course,
also
we
have
have our
a-
Ask Your Guides group. And go ahead.
Yes, I also have a group, but it's I kind of stopped because it wasn't getting any traction. But if people join, I will definitely post and be more active in my group as well.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, everybody who joined us. This was wonderful. This was really a fun group. And I appreciate all of you bringing this awesome energy and coming together with us to do this. And I think we're going to have to definitely do a part 2 at some point, because we need to know more about the latex. And I want to hear more about this crocheting and a couple other things that came up, and boundaries, especially, because that's like my favorite topic in the whole world. So thank you, everybody, for sharing everything with us today, and everyone who joined us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm no longer doing this every week because I had to set my own boundaries. I was getting tired. So we will see you all soon, and saying goodbye. Gonna end the live.
Thank you. Thank you.